Hi, book friends. It's Nikki here at Inspired Bookie. I'm here to talk about a few books today, but before I start, I just want to say I am recording in bed because it is freezing out. It is like, look at this. Well, it was 1 degree, now it says it's 5 degrees on here, but the real feel is -12. I'm like, I need to be under the covers today, stay warm. So, anyway, the three books I'm going to talk to you about are actually like self-improvement genre. I never really thought I'd be like a self-improvement kind of, you know, have any interest in that. But I don't know. These three books that I have, I really love, and I think they're pretty popular. Well, maybe some of them aren't. I guess if you're into the genre, you would know it. But okay, let's get started. So first one is The Four Agreements. It's by Don Miguelo or Don Miguel Ruiz. Um, and he is actually a Mexican author. He's originally published in Spanish, but I have the English version. I read this book last year, and I have to say that the majority of the book I whipped right through it. It was more the ending that was a little bit slow for me. I felt like it was like kind of like a cop out at the end. I thought that he could have I don't know, explained the last agreement a little bit better. It was just kind of one of those things where like the whole book was so good, and then the ending you're like, that's it. But basically, the four agreements he goes into. Let me see here. Are be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions and always do your best. So you can see the last one, always do your best. It was like, I don't know. I thought it was going to be more profound than that. But it's still a very good tip. But what I really liked the be impeccable with your word. That's actually the one I struggle with the most because I feel like, I say, random stuff. I have that word vomit problem where things just come out of my mouth. Um, and I'm like, why did I say that? Um, the second one, don't take anything personally, I think is like such an important piece of advice because, a lot of the times where conflict arises is because you take something personally. Um, and it could be the littlest thing, like somebody gives you a funny look and you're like, why is that person doing that? Did I do something wrong? Well, it's actually coming from inside that person. It has nothing to do with you. Even if you did make them upset, there's still there's still something that is inside them that's creating anger. It's not you necessarily. Um, and then that kind of goes along with don't make assumptions. Like, we assume so many things all the time that people are thinking this or that. And again, it can create unnecessary conflict, and especially within your mind. The main part of this book is trying to get you to create like a more peaceful mind. And so, instead of, always thinking this or that about something, or always feeling like, somebody's out to get you, or you're always feeling like you're just not good enough, whatever it may be. He talks a lot about, self criticism and things like that. Um, Sorry, just moved my leg and I forgot that I'm recording right now. So anyway, um, yeah, I just really enjoy this book. I think it has a lot of great advice and it's very applicable. Next book. This one is actually fictional. This is my favorite book and the only book I've ever read two times. It's The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And he had this experience when he was in college where he was getting really cocky, thinking that he was the greatest, and he ended up getting an injury. But in between that time, he meets this guy, and in the book it's Socrates. I think he said that that's what he nicknamed the guy in real life, but basically he turned this book into fiction, even though it's based on a true story. Um, but Socrates turned his life around and really just made him see how to live more of a peaceful lifestyle. and it goes hand in hand with the Four Agreements. They're both, you know, trying to help people live that more peaceful lifestyle. Um, but the reason that I read this book twice is because I just feel like there's so many interesting tidbits in here, so many pieces of advice to take. And it's not it where it differs from the Four Agreements is that it is fiction, so it has a storyline along with it. Um, and I just really enjoyed the plot. It kind of has a fantasy aspect to it, and you know you're really the main character really pulls you into his story. You want to know what's gonna happen next. So there is that suspense aspect to it as well. Um, so not only would I recommend it for great writing style, but also for the advice that it offers. Then the third book that I want to talk about, I'm reading in Spanish. In English, it's Winning with People, but John C. Maxwell is a very popular guy. I didn't know about him before this book. I'm still in the middle of the book, but this one is talking about how you can create better relationships and communicate better with people. It's funny because I told one of my colleagues that I was reading this book, and she's like, "Don't you already know how to do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it's still something kind of interesting to read, and I feel like it's still something you can improve upon in your life." Um, so even though I would consider myself a good communicator, I still feel like this book is teaching me a lot. Um, there's things that I've highlighted throughout it. Let me see if I can find a good one here. Um, let's see here. Oh, one thing that I really, really liked piece of advice in here is that it talks about, is the situation more important than the person that you are trying to resolve something with. So if you're ever having a fight, are you prioritizing the situation, or are you prioritizing the relationship that you have with the person? And I think we all can say that, that we've all had conflict in our lives, and I feel like that's such a great piece of advice because you can really think like it can really kind of help you simmer down whatever intense emotions you're having when you think about, okay, is this person, do I really love this person? Do I really care about this person? Or do I care more about the situation? And it's also kind of puts things in check too, because then if you are saying, well, actually this person isn't that important to me, then why are you going to continue with the conflict? But if the person is extremely important to you, then you're going to say, okay, the situation isn't that big of a deal. The person is more important than that. So it's things like that that I really like about this book. I do have to say I'm reading it rather slowly. I'm not. It might be because it's in Spanish, but I actually feel like it's more the content. Um, I feel like some of the things I'm skipping over a little bit because it's like, okay, I just want to get to the next point, or I understand what he's trying to say as it is. So I'm really reading this book more as a kind of like go through and pick out what I like about it. So that's all for today, and I hope everyone out there is staying warm if you live in a cold area. I'm trying to do my best at that, as you could see. But hope you leave some comments and subscribe, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.